Dougie. I mean, you're not going to go the full hog and suggest that we should be having an all Great Britain international side or anything, are you?
Well. Listen, you stick Scott McTominay in that England team. We could maybe go all the way, but look, I think even I'd kind of bulk at that. We have those separate footballing identities. Apart from anything else, you would need to have a British Super League if you were going to have a UK team.
We've read a lot about that over the years, over the decades, particularly the sport pages of the Daily Record.
The English Premiership clubs, turkeys aren't going to vote for Christmas here. But it is an interesting. I wrote a piece a couple of years ago, fun enough, in defence of Stephen Flynn, who said he wasn't supporting England at the World Cup, and he got a bit of flack for it. Now, I think where I differ from Stephen Flynn is it really makes no odds to me if England win the World Cup, but I'm certainly not going to be supporting them for the simple reason that I'm not English. So, but had football been invented elsewhere, we might not have a situation. We might have a united British team, and then would, because sport has been the most obvious, kind of contrary to what I said earlier, sport has been an obvious arena where separate national identities have kind of thrived. So it'd been interesting, a kind of sliding doors moment. But I think if you were to create a great British team now, let's be honest, it would just be full English players and a couple of token Scottish, maybe Northern Irish, maybe Welsh. And it'd be hard to ask people elsewhere, I think, to get behind that. And that's where that kind of idea, I think, would fall down. You guys, would you guys be wrapping yourself in the Union flag if it had a British team?
I would support Scotland if they had, and I don't know if they do have a team or whether it's purely an individual sport, but when it comes to like stone skimming across waters, I'd be supporting Scotland at that if they had a team. I am very much
sure. I think the stone skimming World Championship,
I believe,
place in Scotland. Yeah,
but I think it's very much an individual pursuit as opposed to a team sport.
Yeah.
So I think you will obviously get Scottish competitors who would have my full support. And if there's any listening, please do get in touch. But no, I'm very much in favour of Team Scotland when it comes to all things. And obviously on the Daily Record, we do have an our masthead Scottish champion. So we are
all things. The Olympics. Then do you think Scotland should compete?
Well, it's not to get bogged down in the politics of this too much. I think when it comes to certain sports like swimming, for example, when it comes to cycling, and there's long existing, well-resourced programmes there for Team GB. I think athletes are quite comfortable having dual kind of identities. They can compete at the Commonwealth Games, which many will be doing this summer here in Glasgow, and then they can, seamlessly switch to Team GB when they're at the Olympics. I think, obviously, we're all political animals on this podcast, and I'm sure many of our listeners are as well. But I think when it comes to sportsmen and women, they are a lot less territorial about this. They'll want to compete for their home nation. They also want to compete in many examples for their hometown. It's how a lot of athletes start out, joining a local athletics club and then they progress up the chain. But that's a very, very long-winded way of saying, back to my original point, which is when it comes to football and politics, I think ultimately politicians are always going to want to get an advantage any way they can. And if that goes along to football games to waving the crowds, then so be it. But I don't think it does much for